Hello everyone. So today I want to show you how you can set up your Linux system for Python development. First thing you need, of course, is Python. But before that, you must know that there are two major versions of Python that are still used to this day. That's Python version 2 and Python version 3. And although Python version 3 was actually released in 2008, some systems may still have Python 2 installed, or you can actually have both versions installed. That's why it's very important to know that there is a difference between the command Python and Python 3. Python only runs Python version 2 and Python 3 runs the Python version 3. Now let's check which version do we have installed in our system. So let's check for Python 2 first. And I don't have Python 2 installed in my system. However, it's much more preferable to actually install Python version 3. So let's check if we have Python 3 on our system. And indeed we have the latest Python 3.8.5 version installed on our system. If you don't have Python installed in your system, you will have to install it using your package manager using the following commands: sudo apt install and software properties -common, and then you have to add the repository for installing Python or adding it to your package manager. So you run sudo add apt repository dead snakes repository. And now you can install it using the normal apt install Python 3. Now, after installing Python, you will need to install pip. Pip is the package installer for Python. You will need it to manage and install Python packages or libraries from the Python package index and other indexes. The Python package index, this one, is where you will find, or you can actually look for any libraries or packages that are made for Python that can make your life much easier. To check if you have pip installed, you run the following command: python -m pip version. Of course I have to run it in the Python 3 version. And indeed I have pip 20 installed. So now that we have Python and pip installed, we need to start writing our source code. So we need a text editor for that. My choice would be Visual Studio Code, which is the most popular text editor nowadays, developed by Microsoft. However, if you don't like the Microsoft version and just want the open source version without any connection to Microsoft servers, you can install the VS Codium instead. It's basically the same code, it runs the same extensions, but it doesn't connect to any Microsoft servers. So let's start creating our first project. So let's make a folder and name it my project, for example. And let's cd into that. And this is an empty project now, and I can open it in Visual Studio Code using the following command: code. And now the folder opens in Visual Studio Code. Let's start creating a new file. Let's call it hello.py. And as you can see already, Visual Studio Code recommends that I install the Python extension. I can install it right now, or I can show you here in the extensions tab. The most popular extension on Visual Studio Code is actually the Python language extension. I just click on install, and this will help me in writing my Python code and suggest function names and variables. Now let's get back to our code and start writing print hello and save. Now let's open this folder in our terminal, in the integrated terminal in Visual Studio Code, and we can actually now run this program by running the Python 3 and then the name of the file. And as you can see, it prints to the console the hello Spartacus. Alternatively, I can use the shortcut, which is Ctrl plus F5, and it will run in my terminal but with some more information that I don't actually need. Or you can just click the play button right here, but it will actually print the whole command. I just prefer to just write the python 3 hello.py. And that's great. Now we have our running Python file. Now let's talk about virtual environments. You might be using external libraries or packages that you installed with pip, for example, and now you want to share actually your project with your team or online, or actually store it for later use on a different machine, for example. So the virtual environment help you create an isolated environment for your project to manage these dependencies. So virtual environment is already installed in Python 3, and you can just create a new environment in the folder you are in by running python 3-mv env space env. And this creates a env folder in my project folder. This includes several folders inside. The bin folder is where I can activate my actual environment, as we will see in a moment. And then the include, which includes the C headers that compile the Python packages. And the lib folder, this is where the external libraries and packages that I will install using pip will be stored. So let's activate our environment by running source env bin activate. And as you can see right here, between parentheses, you can see that I have the env is now activated. Now let's say I have already added some packages to my environment and I want to actually collect the information about the packages I used so I can share it with other people. I can do that using the pip freeze. This will collect all the requirements that I used in my environments. If I want to store this information in a separate files, I use the greater than sign and followed by the requirements.txt, or the file name I want to save into. What this will do is actually create a requirements file, but here I don't have any additional libraries added. But let's say if I already have installed, for example, it will install tweetp library and all the dependencies it have. And if I run the freeze command again and put it in the requirements, as you can see, the requirements are now updated, and people can actually now use this requirements file to create their own virtual environments by using pip install and adding the -r flag and add the name of the file. Now after finishing, you want to deactivate this environment using the just deactivate command, and that's it. You are back to the normal workflow, or you can actually start a new environment if you wish. And that's it. I hope that was helpful. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.